Hey guys, today I thought I'd do a video on the internet's most hated man, Sneako, and I've got it all written on a script here, so I'm just gonna read it off to you. This man went from a respected content creator to some sort of clown conspiracy theorist with no future in record time. From grinding out YouTube for almost a decade, creating thought-provoking videos, and growing as a human alongside an audience who truly appreciated him, to being banned on all platforms that could pave a way to a lucrative future on social media, and it's entirely his fault. Today I'm going to talk about why everyone hates Sneako. Recent drama aside, which I'll get into later, Sneako has been on a destructive path for a real long time. It was always Sneako versus ego, and his ego kept being fed by his own social media success. Despite that, in his early years, he seemed completely self-aware and was also in a perfect position in life at this time. He was earning YouTube checks each month, and he wasn't afraid to be himself with the swagger that comes with seeing such high praise at a young age. And he even was friends with Mr. Beast, and who had high hopes for him and picked him to be a top YouTuber when he was asked to rank up-and-comers. And even though Mr. Beast outpaced Sneako eventually, he even offered him a job to come help him make videos, an experience obviously anyone would be lucky to have. But this was also the first sign that Sneako's ego started to outgrow his channel, because he couldn't handle that he'd be working for them and not with them, essentially burning a bridge about nothing but good intentions. He removed the video within minutes, but the damage had already been done. As he got older, it only got worse, starting to embody what his former self would have hated, what fans were initially drawn to in the first place. At one point, he even said being a narcissist is a good thing and compared himself to the likes of Kanye West. He no longer made videos of self-reflection or introspection, and so he switched to making the 1 minute podcast. And don't get me wrong, this was good content. He would just talk about topics everyone fights online about and ask people in the streets their thoughts. And it was doing really well until the lockdown happened, which made his content hard to do, but that wasn't necessarily what was the biggest issue. Sneako didn't see his long-term girlfriend for 3 weeks and cheated on her. And not only did he do this, but he FaceTime called her and recorded the whole thing for a YouTube video and was posted as just a regular YouTube vlog. And his girlfriend was also a regular on his YouTube channel, meaning his audience knew and actually liked her. And besides the Mr. Beast video, this was when he started really getting shitted on. One comment in particular really hurt his feelings, from a YouTuber named D'Angelo Wallace, that read, "He's for the streets," basically calling him a hoe for cheating. And Sneako fired back with a 30-minute unhinged rant video, to which D'Angelo just ignored. But that didn't stop Sneako from continuing to try and clown him in a one-sided beef, all because he got dissed for cheating on his girlfriend, which resulted in a more toxic audience that just wanted Sneako going bonkers, talking shit and getting crazy. To the point even a single offhand comment or opinion against his own was enough to make him lose his mind. And as you may assume, it was never any sort of intellectual disagreement making a habit to go after people based on their looks, because his own biggest insecurity was his own looks. And his other insecurity was his manhood. He wants to give off this tough guy persona like he doesn't care what other people think, when in reality, that's all he cares about. And I wonder what his former self would think now that he's developed all of the modern tendencies of a narcissistic influencer. But I mean, he did grow up with internet fame since pre-puberty, and that probably messed with him up to some degree. Even fully grown adults who get internet fame end up making some critical mistakes on changing for the worse. But this was hardly the start of his descent into madness. The more fame he got, the more it took over his personality, and being that he couldn't handle online hate, things were about to get wild when Sneako admitted to letting his girlfriend cuck him on a live stream in great detail, and was asked about it a second time in a video. By the time this podcast aired, his numbers were the lowest they'd been in 2 years. At this point, something must have happened, because he changed drastically, and he published a video claiming he'd be a millionaire within a year. A year. And if you know anything about Sneako, you know he wasn't wrong. But how? Anyone who followed him at the time knew he was making more and more nihilistic videos where he talked about being at the lowest point of his life. So what changed from that to what he is now? What woke him up? 2 words. Andrew Tate. Like many others that were at their lowest, feeling hopeless, Andrew Tate arrived at the perfect time to give them purpose. He spoke to them seemingly directly about things they wanted to hear, and of course Sneako was all in. Sneako is now live streaming, consuming Tate's message with his audience, which Sneako blew up like few people will ever experience. And so he found his calling, an ironic contradiction of his former self feeding into his narcissism in the worst possible ways, and turned into someone completely unrecognizable to his younger self. The Matrix was now the enemy, and he was finally awake. The agents were coming, and the only way to save himself was to act like Andrew Tate as much as possible. Not just language or opinions, but even mannerisms and the way he carried himself, which seemed like a contradiction to being mentally strong alpha having to follow a man completely till you lose your own sense of self. Sneako even began selling self-help courses just like his idol, and anyone who disagreed with him were beta male soy boy cucks and NPCs. After this, he got really unhinged, platforming alt-right white nationalists on his stream and agreeing with them as a mixed-race person. And pretty soon, he was against everything accepted in the current and political and social landscape. Nothing was real, and if someone believed in science, they were agents of the Matrix. Kanye, of course, was right about Hollywood, and the only way to escape was through Andrew Tate, and then YouTube banned him. Finally, which was Sneako's income for over a decade, and of course, in a way, this too went to Sneako's head because it confirmed to him that he was somehow a part of this Matrix. Of course, this didn't force introspection that he could have possibly done anything deserving of it. And being banned by big tech doesn't help anybody. It forces you even further into the arms of the most ridiculous opinions on the internet. People like to seek a tribe, especially if they feel like they're a target of what they deem injustice, especially those that seek and need acceptance. So, of course, when you get banned by big tech, you surround yourself with others who landed themselves in the same boat and their audience, which is big and easily monetizable. So, what do? What do you have to lose? By accepting and doubling down. At this point, Sneako was no longer just fighting against his ego. He had went full Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader. It wasn't him, it was the world that was the problem. Tupac me against the world type shit, which is around the point Moist Critical, aka Charlie, aka Penguin Zero, made a video laughing about one of Sneako's friends, Fresh, saying that there's no way he slept with one woman, let alone 1,000 of them. And of course, he didn't learn from the D'Angelo Wallace situation. Sneako decided to respond like a baby and diss his girlfriend, obviously crossing the line. She had nothing to do with this. I mean, neither did Sneako. If somebody talks shit about your friend, I don't know why do you have to talk shit about that person's girlfriend. It seems unhinged, but it's the same pattern he's shown before. To which Charlie responded, adding fuel to the flame and using it as an opportunity to clown on Sneako himself. Charlie then went on to live his life, forgetting about the thing, while Sneako, as usual, wouldn't let things go. And after a while, Charlie decided to respond by saying, "You literally have a collage of people who hurt your feelings on the internet. You haven't stopped whining about me for months. Now, you goofy NPC, even if you beat my ass in a fight, it doesn't change the truth. You're still a cuck who defends child porn." Sneako replied, saying, "You know in your soul you'd never say that to my face," to which Charlie ended with, "Holy shit, you pathetic soy little worm. I made fun of you for watching your girlfriend get fucked by numerous men, and also insulted you for defending child porn. That's not cancellation, that's just spitting on you for being a pitiful, sad cuck." Sneako at one point went live on a Rumble dancing around with a gun and a cigar like some sort of Andrew Tate clone, telling the camera to watch his clips. And Charlie responded by pulling out his guns and explaining, "They aren't clips, they're mags." And that you beating me in a fight doesn't unfuck your girlfriend from the numerous men who had sex in front of you, really showing just really highlighting how pathetic Sneako has become. See, challenging Charlie in a fight because he's much shorter than he is just a pattern of behavior, and he's done this before with D'Angelo Wallace because he thought he could win. And he only likes to bully people he considers weaker than himself. But if we roll back the clock, we know this is just a front and it's just all bravado. This tough guy act is just that of a little scared guy who wants the approval of his audience and, most importantly, Andrew Tate. Now, Brandon Buckingham, a YouTuber from the Buckingham Show, was accused of R-wording his girlfriend. This wasn't what actually happened, but Sneako spread the rumor to hundreds of thousands of people, trying to ruin Brandon's life based on a lie. Brandon just asked after telling Sneako he was a fan if he wanted to do a friendly boxing match like most YouTubers were doing at the time. Sneako replied by telling him to get off his dick, and because Sneako was the biggest creator, most people believed this lie to be true, and Brandon ended up in a mental hospital, but since then he's been doing great. Now he wants to legit fight Sneako because of the slander, but because Brandon is the same size and knows martial arts, that isn't gonna happen. Sneako even actively avoids mentioning Brandon's name anytime or anymore, which is hilarious because if you go on Sneako's Twitter, he has a collage of all the people talking about him or said stuff that he doesn't like. Now he's claiming he won't fight him because Brandon is suing for defamation for the rape case, but Sneako already admitted he wouldn't fight Brandon because the lawsuit before the lawsuit even surfaced. Blah. Brandon claims there's no reason they couldn't fight and it wouldn't impact the defamation lawsuit which exists due to Sneako's false sexual assault allegations. It's odd to me people respect Sneako when he claims anyone who won't fight him is a pussy who runs away, but won't fight Brandon, the person who actually wants to fight him. And he claims everyone who talks bad about him is a cuck, despite being the one who is actually cuckolded multiple times, so it's real odd that Sneako essentially has an audience built around being a secure man who others look up to and literally selling a course on how to be like him, the most insecure man on the planet, who's selling a fake tough guy course. Sneako is just a walking L and is trying to cling to relevance long enough to make his money before he inevitably fades into obscurity. And yeah, I mean, that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.